Hey guys, so it's been a while since I've recorded anything, and I'm really sorry about that, but today I have something special to share with you guys. About a month ago, Jace allowed me to ask him some questions, and I recorded it. That being said, when I recorded, just the very first bit of the video didn't record, but all the audio did, so Adobe Premiere isn't accepting it as a video file, just as an audio file, so I'm really sorry that it's just audio. That being said, sat down, asked some questions for about 45 minutes, and, well, this is what he said. It went really well, and it went really well, and I hope you guys enjoy everything that I have to share with you today. And if you liked it, please let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to ask Jace, if he should give me the opportunity to do this again. So yeah, thanks so much for watching, and let me know in the comments down below if you liked it.
My name is Jace. You may have heard. Yep.
Alright, so I guess I should do an intro. Hi Jace. Thank you so much
Hello.
for agreeing to talk to me. I totally don't deserve this, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Well, you hired someone to keep me at gunpoint, so I didn't really have much of a choice. But here I am.
I'm really glad that that sniper worked out.
And they're telling me right now that I have to say I'm excited to be here.
Perfect. All right, he got my text.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So first question that I wanted to ask, a couple things about like Coffee Stain itself. So I think this is like already public knowledge, but how many people are like actively working on Satisfactory right now?
Yeah, I think people here at the studio, I think it's like 25-ish. I never know. Sometimes people come and go, not so much, but I think it's around somewhere between 20 and 30 people, so it's not really that much. We may have a couple, we have, I think, as far as I know, 2 contractors as well. We have one guy testing in Mexico. He's been with us for a while as a contractor as well. And then there are some people on like the Coffee Stain publishing side who, of course, are, involved as well. But in terms of people here at the studio actively developing, it's like 25 people, I think.
Okay, nice. And so out of, that 25, that 25 is out of a total of how many people at Coffee Stain? So is that like basically all hands on, or?
Yeah, I don't remember the number. I think I saw somewhere like 50 employees, but that might be completely wrong because we have Coffee Stain North. I think they're pretty small as well. They've been working on the Goat Simulator DLCs in the past. And then we have another studio called Lava Potion in Gothenburg. I don't really know anything about them. And then we have Coffee Stain Publishing. And then there are other studios that we publish, but they're not us, right?
Yeah.
So I don't really know how many people. I don't think it's that much. I really don't. Across all the studios, I don't think it's that much people. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So out of those 25 people then that are working on Satisfactory, do you know exactly how many man hours have been put into the development? Like, I'm sure there's not an actual number, but if you could ballpark it, like.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's 25 multiplied by 40 multiplied by 3 years.
Man.
Or multiplied by 8 multiplied by whatever. 3 years.
3 years.
by 25. Yeah.
All right. So that so there's been a lot of development. I mean, that's really awesome. I mean, what's really cool is just that we what we've seen so far of the gameplay and stuff. It all looks super polished, especially for what we know is polished today.
Yeah.
For even just the pre-alpha demos and whatnot. So I mean, that's really cool to see, and I love to see the amount of quality that you guys put into it.
Yeah, and it's super, honestly, it's super impressive when the alpha was as we work on things, we don't focus on the polish so much, at least earlier, right? It's all about let's get the functionality in. Is it playing well? Design side of things, implementing various things, iterating over it. But then when the alpha was about to start and we were like, all right, it's time to polish in, it's insane how much the game changed and how quickly and how polished it became. And it's, when we do more of that, it's just gonna skyrocket up again and again. So, yeah, I'm super impressed with what everyone did.
Yeah, no, that is really cool. And I mean, so like you said, just everything is going on about all the different aspects of it, and especially with the Because the way that you guys are doing factories is all based on like a logic-based system, same way kind of like Factorio handles it, right? Is that right? Like it's a entirely logic-based as far as like the programming side goes of it.
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
It's not super. Yeah, it's not really logic based. Yeah, it's just more of you set it up in the most optimized way you can. In terms of logic going forward, I don't really know what's up. There is like some elements of logic, I think, but I don't think it's what people would expect. You know, when people play Factorio and they're like, "Is it this comprehensive?" Nah, at least not now. You know, yeah.
Okay, and I mean, like, I guess it's a good segue into my next question. Is it like a lot of people, like, well, not a lot of people, but I have seen some comments on like Twitter and YouTube that are like some people are just worried about the lack of complexity. So because like it looks pretty basic on the front end of things like what we've seen. And a lot of people are like, oh, there's no pipes. Oh, you don't need an inserter for like the conveyor belt. People are like just saying that it doesn't look that complex. What do you think?
Again, when I think to Factorio, if that's what we compare to, which is what everyone compares to, I don't know. I don't think it's as complex as Factorio. At least not now. Again, like it's a game that hasn't even been released yet. We're going to support it. I think we're going to support it for quite some time, and who knows what's going to happen after that. But is it complex? Yeah, it is. When we look at what the people in the alpha have been doing, it's honestly super impressive. They've been, when you throw that third axis into things change a lot, and there are a lot of buildings, and there are a lot of ways to optimize things. So I think it's still really complex. At the same time, people who are, I think, die-hard factory sim fans may find it less complex, but will probably find ways to create their own fun anyway. But then when we look at people who are new, this is the kind of game that visually maybe is easier to understand. And so when there are people who are new, they can look at it and be like, hey, this looks pretty cool. And they can still get into the game. So, it's about hopefully finding that balance of pleasing those diehard fans, but also getting new people on board. And again, who knows what will happen with complexity over time? Maybe it gets more complex. Don't know.
Yeah, for sure, because it is important to kind of like reach out to that broader audience, as well as like you said, to make sure that everyone is happy. I mean, you'll never be able to make everybody happy, but it sounds like what you guys are doing is trying to optimize that, and that's really good. And so speaking of like that whole like going forward thing, is like modding. Modding is like a huge thing to some people, and so from what I understand from your recent Q&As is that the game was it was being built with modding in mind from the beginning, but as development went forward a bit more and we started getting closer to the alpha, I know that you said that it's kind of been pushed a little bit to the backlog to kind of make sure that you can flesh out all the main features and stuff first. But like even with that, like how... Like, do you think that that'll make modding a bit more difficult to integrate in the future? Or are you still building new systems with modding in mind?
Yeah, I think it would, right? Because if you don't build modding alongside of things, it is going to be more difficult, I think, to throw it in later. But yeah, we do have that foundation, so it's not like we would have to start from scratch. However, I'm sure it's still a lot of work for us. And, I personally really think, you got to have it. It's going to benefit the game a lot. But when we can have it, if we can have it, is completely up in the air. Because the base game it's still tricky to design, and we've come a long way with that, which is great. But at the end of the day, not everyone is going to play with mods. Not everyone is going to mod. And
that's true.
The game has to be good without mods to start with. So I think it's most important that we focus on what we're focusing on right now. And hopefully we can have them in later.
Definitely. And I mean, because mods are really great for the longevity of the game, but I definitely understand what you're saying with like not everyone is going to mod. I mean, that is definitely a huge thing. I mean, I didn't even consider that. Is that like because you're talking about maybe less than half of the whole community at large. But I mean, that is kind of like a deal breaker thing to some people. Some people absolutely will not buy a game unless it supports modding, just because when they buy a game, they want it for like as long as it can be dragged out.
Yeah, and I think that is true. Um, and I would say you said like less than half of people would, want it. I would say it's way less than that. It is niche, and that isn't to say that we then ignore it. No, it's I'm sure a lot of people here want it. I want it a lot.
For sure.
And just because it's a niche group of people, that isn't necessarily the reason why we wouldn't do it. Not many people. Let's not worry about it. But I think we would. I was going to say something else and I forgot. But yeah, I think it is. Again, it's easier to think more people want it than people care about. Like I think, for example, when you think about the complexity in Factorio, now that it's an established game, all the diehard people would want it. But if you think about how many people own the game, I'm sure there's a lot of people who aren't really diehard Factory, like a lot of people who aren't diehard Factory people that bought the game and couldn't care less about that overall complexity. Like really, if you really looked at everyone, if you could.
Oh yeah.
Having said that, that doesn't mean you don't cater to your diehard fans. You absolutely do.
Of course. But yeah, I mean, if you look at like the Steam achievements for Factorio, it's like a really low amount of players have actually built a rocket out of like everyone that has played the game. So just like
exactly.
Yeah, I totally understand that. And I mean, speaking of rockets, one of the things, like this is the question I've seen come up the most. I'm actually not sure if you have answered it or not, but we have seen like the flying vehicles or like the little carriers or whatnot in the trailers and gameplays. Are those like pilotable vehicles, or are those strictly systems built in for like delivering from one building to another?
Yeah, so I can't answer all of that, but I will say they're not pilotable.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad
awesome.
I'm glad that my dreams are crushed.
That's what we're here for, man. We do this every week. We send out fake alpha keys. There is no alpha, and we just crush dreams.
Well, yeah, I mean, this whole game is a
Makes
scam.
me happy.
Like, I don't know why we're still here, because I mean, you've said this is a scam so many times.
Yeah, I've told everyone.
You told everyone.
I've never lied in my life.
Of course. Oh, of course, never.
Yeah.
So in the art of never lying, then, what is your? I'm actually gonna skew this a little bit, so I'm gonna make this two questions. What is your favorite system in the game? And that could be anything for like, that. But because you said you never lie, I also want to know what your least favorite system in the game is.
Yeah, sure. I love the vehicles. Mostly, I'm a bit biased there because I tune them a lot, and so I really like that aspect. Let's see, least favorite. Shit. I don't know. I actually don't know. I kind of just like the rest somewhat. It's always this kind of like what I feel like doing. Sometimes refactoring my factory is just this thing that I'm like, you know what, I really don't want to do this right now. And then there are other times when I'm like, yeah, I'm going to fix this right now, and I'm super into it, and I'm, whatever. So it's like, that's like this love-hate relationship. But then there's also exploration where it's like, I would need to explore right now. I really don't feel like taking the car out. I really don't feel like fighting monsters. And then other times I do. So it is this nice balance where, sometimes you feel like one thing, and sometimes you feel like you don't want to do refactoring. So then you feel like exploring. So then you go and do that instead. Then you don't want to do that anymore, and you go back and refactor or build. So it's kind of nice. There are many things you can do, and you just switch between them if you don't feel like one.
Definitely. That's like how I play most of my games, is like just kind of managing what I feel like doing and not, because like, for example, Subnautica is like one of my favorite games, but the thing about it is that there's so many times it's just like it feels like a chore to do stuff. But I mean, that is kind of fun sometimes. But
and I think it is the core of these games. I would be surprised if anyone played any kind of factory sim and they were like, this isn't quite right. I have to redo it. And to some degree, it's a chore. It's satisfying in the end, but that is the case. And I kind of feel shitty right now, given this, like, I felt like a PR answer where you're like, what's your least favorite thing? And I couldn't say one. But it's like, I just generally can't. I would totally say something. I'd totally shit on a feature in the game if I...
Oh, I know you would. Yeah. I mean, I know you would, and I think everyone else does too. So, I mean, that's a good, genuine answer. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, as far as like the alpha has gone, I'm not sure how much you can disclose on that, but
Mhm.
how has the feedback been like in general?
Yeah. So, of course, we don't get feedback from everyone that's in, but we have like amongst the people who are in the alpha, we have it's quite active in terms of that community on side of things, um, and we get a lot of good feedback. A lot of people are commenting on quality of life things, which we address, crashes, which we address, just kind of like shitty things like, yo, this sound is really loud. Can you not kill my ears? Yeah, sure. Um, Things like that. And but overall, I think we've been getting a lot of positive feedback. A lot of people have said it's the highest quality alpha that they've been in. Now, that doesn't mean it is the highest quality alpha. I believe them when they say that that's the highest quality alpha that they've been in, but it's great feedback like that, and they're saying it's super stable, blah blah blah. Yeah.
That's really cool. Are you taking suggestions like from
Hey,
people in
boys.
the alpha? Like if someone has like an idea of like how they can do something better or something.
Simon just showed up.
Oh hey,
What?
what's up,
Here.
Simon? We get a cameo. Hey Simon.
He's saying hey. Hey. Yeah, can you go away now?
Okay. Alright.
I'm just gonna do whatever you want, man.
Just tell him I don't have any keys he can take away. I know he wants
Yeah,
them
he has no
back.
keys that you can take. If
What?
he has no keys if that's why you're
Then
here.
I don't want to be.
He doesn't want to be here anymore. Yeah. Sorry. Your question, go on.
That's all right. If oh yeah, so I was gonna say like are anyone that's in the alpha like actively giving you guys like suggestions that you guys are listening to, like be it like hey this is how this system works currently, this is how I think it could be better, and like are you guys listening to that, or are you guys more so going for the types of like, oh, this is what crashes the game, and oh, this is like terrible.
Yep. Yeah, we do, and yeah, we take it all into account. Honestly, we can't obviously address everything.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, like it could be because it's just too much. It's not super too much now, and that's the reason why we can't just give a bajillion alpha keys out, because then we would literally be unable to get a decent view of what's important. So we definitely take the suggestions as well as like all the bug issues. One thing with suggestions is a lot of people have some issue, then they give a suggestion, but sometimes it isn't the suggestion you listen to, but it's the problem that you listen to. And then here we try and figure out, well, what's the common line between all the problems that are and suggestions that have been given, and find out what's the best thing to do. So there are times where we just throw features or changes in that no one really even asks for, but we think that maybe it's going to address a lot of concerns, even though no one really asked for it. And then we, just throw that in and see what happens. Maybe people shit on it, in which case you take it out. Maybe they don't. Maybe it helps a lot. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Have there been any features like that you've like put into the game and then like taken out because people were like, no, please?
Yeah, I think so. I don't have any specific examples, but
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that stuff has happened. Yeah.
Okay. And so I think the biggest question for this whole Q&A, which I hope that I can get an answer for, is are you guys planning on keeping the game closed past the alpha stage? If there's a beta like and you guys get into like the working beta stages of it, will the game still be closed access to like maybe invites, or will there be a beta at all? Or are you guys planning on doing any sort of like early access?
Hmm. Let's see. I mean, the game is going to open up. Yeah, okay, so like I'm going to find a way to answer this that won't get me fired. Okay.
You got it.
But whether the game is in an early access or not, I'm very confident that it's going to be supported beyond the point where people can buy it. So
Okay.
if it's like a full release and people can buy it, we're still going to support it, from what I understand. And if it's an early access kind of thing, then yeah, people can buy it, and then obviously we're still going to be working on it. So whatever it's called, whether it's an early
Yeah.
access or whether it's a release, in either way, it's not like it's not like it's not going to change or be improved upon.
Of course, of course. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. That's a good answer. All right. And now I know that you said to not ask you hardware questions. I'm still gonna try. But as far as like, do you guys? So for the alpha waves that have gone out, I can't remember off the top of my head exactly how many, but I know that the biggest part of like that whole like survey was like hardware performance. Did you guys aim for specifically any like types of hardware performance, and has that like changed a bit, like of what you were looking for, like maybe higher end performance, lower end performance, as far as the alpha so far?
Yeah, no, that's a question I can answer. We don't target a specific one. We accept all levels, including very low, because we want all that feedback. Like if we just target higher end PCs and hardware, then how are we really going to know how optimized the game is? Because everyone's got sweet computers, right? So we accept everything, but the way we do it, and the reason why that information is important, is we try and get a good distribution of it. If we just sent out random keys, and then we just so happen to get 80% shit computers or 80% really good computers, that's not really that useful to us. We want to keep that distribution nice. So a lot of people are concerned, like, is my PC not good enough? And it's like, no, it's fine. Your PC, we don't even look at your specific hardware. We just want a general idea of what you may have, so we can put you in some kind of bucket. And other people are like, well, my hardware's too good, that's why they're not choosing me, because whatever, I don't know, whatever that reason is. Again, that's not the case. Yeah.
Okay. And so is that distribution happening in every single wave of alpha keys, or do you do like, okay, nice.
Every single one.
Nice. That's actually really good, because I know a lot of people were like, oh, like what if on this wave they only accept bad computers, and this wave they only accept good. That's good. It's like a nice little wave. And so this is like a talking point about like, the Epic controversy, because that's been the whole news and meme for the last few weeks, or the last exactly 1.5 weeks. But like I honestly think that it'll blow over time, because a lot of people like to neglect the fact that the Epic launcher is actively in development. Like the Epic store is literally changing every single day and updating every other day. And I mean, I'm not sure if you were a super hardcore gamer back when Steam came out. I mean, I was really young when Steam first came out, but people hated it for years right after it came out, just because they were mad that they couldn't have CDs anymore. They were mad that they had to install this like proprietary program, and I think it'll all blow over, just because of the fact that once Epic starts to address all the problems, they are addressing most of the problems people have. And I mean, what's your take on that?
Yeah, I think my take is literally what you just said. I wasn't a huge PC gamer when Steam just came out, but I was to some degree. I was more of a console kid, and but my friends were, and I remember them complaining about Steam so much. And then when I got onto Steam, I think I didn't really mind so much, but others, definitely complained. And the other thing is, as you say, like, well, it was announced like 1.5 weeks ago, and a lot of people are upset that it's missing the features that they expect. Now, like the first thing, and then they're not going to get Satisfactory because of it. And so two things, it's new. Look at how many years Steam has had to get to where it is. And you need to give Epic or whatever new launcher, whoever makes it, you need to give them a chance to develop their stuff. And it's going to be developed quicker, because tech has moved on, and we have ideas. Like Steam had to come up with it from scratch, because they were pretty much the only thing. Yeah. So I think things will improve quickly, but I do think they will also improve in kind of a different direction as well, because again, we can look at Steam and say they're doing this thing, and I say we, it's not me, but if I was to be someone who is creating a launcher, you can look at them and say, what do we agree with, what don't we agree with, and then, okay, this is now a direction we want to move in. And I don't know, I think Epic is going to do something like that, and I don't think we know everything they're going to do, but we hope that they're going to be doing things that are good, and we believe that, from what I understand. Yeah. So Yeah, so in terms of people being upset about it, I can understand that. There's part of me that's like, no one likes change, but that's a general statement. There's not people who are just afraid of change. They have real concerns, and that's fine.
Yeah,
I just hope that people will just sort of maybe just keep it on the back of their minds, just keep up with the news and see if things change to their liking. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, just like you said, is like a lot of the people are afraid of change, and I mean, I kind of get that to an extent, but I think the only like actual response that, like the only actual criticism that I've given credence to is the fact that there's no user reviews, but I feel like, and we haven't had any confirmation about this, but I feel like Epic is going to add them at some point. Like that's a no-brainer, and they're probably going to address that sooner rather than later. But people are like, oh, there's no reviews on Epic, like I'm not going to get it just because of that. But we have no idea if they're planning on it, and they're most likely planning on it. So
yeah, again, I don't have any official word on this,
yeah,
but I assume that there will be. And again, if there's no user reviews and that's a deal breaker for some, don't get it. Like,
yeah,
this isn't me being an asshole or anything. Like, no, really, don't get it. Again, just keep an eye on things. If that's your deal breaker, just see if it happens. And if it does happen, look at those reviews and see what people say. Maybe people shit on Satisfactory, maybe they don't, and use that to inform your decision. Yeah, like, cool.
Definitely. I think that's all the questions that I had. Do you have anything else that you'd like to add or throw in there? I know that this is Key Monday and you have a lot of stuff to get into, so.
Yeah. Let's see.
Hate to keep you from that.
I think as a community manager who like does interviews and speaks to people, every chance that I get to not add more information is great.
All right, great answer.
Yeah. So no, I think we've covered literally all the information that's possible.
Oh, really? Awesome. That's
never lied in my life.
Of course, there's no minefield questions that I could possibly ask anymore.
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you so much again.
Yeah. No worries. And I look forward to this coming out, and I wish you and everyone else Merry Christmas.
Aw, thank you so much, Jace.
No worries.
All right, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you like this, go ahead and share it on your MySpace page, and Jace?
Bye, everyone, and also follow me on MySpace, because I'm really lacking on followers there. People come to my Twitter, but you should go to my MySpace. We've been friends on MySpace since like the 7th grade or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll see you there.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.